A story that started off as a wrong translation, in the end is a reveal on why it's a laugh in a tale. A chapter that drops and everyone who is still a One Piece fan is absolutely going nuts. What about my thoughts? Well, as I said before, I'm not enjoying One Piece as much as I can do before. But before you ask, it is because despair is winning! I don't want despair to win. Give me hope already. But this chapter is an info dump. But I think people are overestimating this chapter a bit too much. And while I still don't know if I actually should review this, as you all know, this is me, the angry and offended despair reviewer, and I'm on my semi-retiring, it is actually still worth noting to do and talk a little bit about this One Piece chapter 967. Well, what happened? Well, let's just say a lot and yet nothing at all. First of all, we see the final journey that Roger and his crew did. And let me tell you, it was a journey that didn't answer anything at all. But it's still something that keeps you on the edge of the toes. First off, we see the Roger pirates actually visiting Water 7, and they were already familiar with Tom at that time, who was still in the States. But here's the funny thing. Odin actually talked to Frankie. Granted, Frankie has never seen how Odin looks like, so of course he wouldn't actually mention that to Momo or anyone else. But that's a strange coincidence. It's even stranger the fact that here he mentions that the pirates will just abandon me again. After all, it's worth noting that his abusive parents throw him aside from the ship. But that's never been brought up. Actually, will we ever find out who his parents really is? Are they dead? I doubt we will ever find out who they are. It's just some cruel parents that abandoned him and probably died at sea. Who cares? But the fact that Odin talked to Frankie is a pretty interesting story, because that means Frankie has technically met Odin. But he probably doesn't remember that. After all, he was a kid and he was only focused on some things back then. Then they went to Neptune. Neptune was already the king of Fisherman Island, and he apparently knew Roger. Strange. Then again, he was a drinking friend or a friend to Whitebeard, and Whitebeard and Roger didn't really seem to hate each other, so yeah, maybe there's a connection there as well. And young Charlotte was 3 years old at that time, but already she could see into the future, and already talk for that matter. She predicted a day of disaster that will happen after Shirahoshi's birth, about maybe 16 after her birth. As we all know, Shirahoshi is 16 years old. What that day of disaster do not mean, but she did predict that someone with a straw hat is gonna destroy Fisherman Island. That is the day of disaster. Or is it? Give me hope! Already. And also another funny thing on the Fisherman Island. There we actually discover the new road poneglyph. Yeah, turns out a long time ago, back in Roger's era, there was a road poneglyph right next to Joy Boy's apology poneglyph. And also Queen Otohime, who at that time was not yet queen, was apparently somewhat famous. Already she preached about happiness. It's also worth noting that she's younger than Neptune. How younger? About 22 years? Wait, doesn't that mean she was a baby at this time? I can't mention. Well, it doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that Roger also finds out that there apparently was supposed to be a road poneglyph in Wano and one in Mink's thing. Are you noticing a trend here? Because they offhandedly mentions that they already have the poneglyph from Big Mom, as Big Mom says he tricked her or whatever. But the thing is, where did Big Mom get her road poneglyph? Did she steal it from some kind of tribe? Because it's worth noting that the only 3 people who yet have that poneglyph is a Mink tribe member, a Fisherman Island people, although we don't know what happened to that thing, and now the humans of Wano, an isolated country. That has to do with the Void Century. Either way, they head back to Wano because Hiyori gets sick, but of course Odin can't stay. Although it's worth noting that although we don't see so many pictures of Wano, we can already see that industry is being created. Has Kaido already had his influence, or was Orochi sincerely trying to do his industry even before Kaido got into Orochi's head? If you ask me, I think Kaido already was in an alliance with Orochi at this time. Only this time he didn't show it to Oden. I think they waited until Oden came back for that to happen. Because they somehow disgraced Oden. Regardless, however, they get the picture. Then they had, and that's how also Neku and Inu went back to Wano and did not go to Laugh Tale. They got a letter that made them go to the Momoko Kingdom, where it turns out that the previous king of the Momoko Kingdom was a sheep, whose name is Hitsugisukan. I can't say his name. I guess a pun on Shan Khan or something like that. And Sheep Mink was a king. That's pretty unexpected. Still not exactly explained what Inu and Nico are, but apparently they were important even back then, so yeah, maybe they were princes. Also, a sad scene, we see a young Pedro, that same scene when he actually asked the pirate Roger to take him on a journey, but Roger says, it's not your time yet. And we all know what happened to Pedro. He sacrificed himself because he believed in Straw Hats. So for crying out loud, can they defeat Kaido already? Please don't make Kaido and Big Mom too powerful. The Straw Hats must win. It's just common sense already. Also, and then we actually found out one question we have already asked, and that is, if Buggy and Shanks were apprentices on the Roger crew, doesn't that mean they technically also know the truth of the world? As it turns out, no, they don't. Because Buggy fell ill to a high fever. And what was the name of that fever? I die if I go to the next island disease. I know, technically that was apparently a real fever, but Usopp has always said something like that. Once again, another of his lies are confirmed to be true. I wonder how many lies is actually proven to be true by now. But it's been implied that everything Usopp says will come true. I guess that's why he is Got Usopp. So Shanks stayed behind for his friend. I don't really like that Buggy is still such an unfair person to Shanks. Shanks is questionable sometimes, mostly because he says that if someone has better opinions, it's better they go their separate ways, yet at the same time he's still a very loyal friend to those he considers friends. And Buggy is an immature one. He could have become a very powerful pirate, but in the end he was too afraid. I'm still not actually sure, why did Buggy become such a weakling? It may be that he was the Usopp of the Roger crew. Maybe he just didn't have faith in himself and decided to hide his true strength. Oda did an offhand comment that said that Buggy could have become a powerful pirate. He just chose not to. So, yeah, maybe in the end it was his cowardice that kept him from his biggest potential. But I don't like Buggy. You can say whatever you want, but I do not like Buggy. However, if Buggy actually teams up with Shanks, that will be another thing. But Shanks believes that two people with different opinions should just leave, go their separate ways. Still, though, Shanks seems still to think that Buggy is a good friend. Or at least he feels like he is... He sees Buggy as a good friend. So yeah. Shanks and Buggy did not go to Laugh Tale because Shanks took care of Buggy when he was sick. But what happened at the final island? Well, they learned everything. The will of the D, why Wano is isolated, the connection of voice entry, everything. But what did they do when they found it out? Well, we don't know. Except that they laughed. Roger laughed so much that tears almost fell down from his eyes. The same with everyone. Everyone laughed. It was truly an amazing page. As Roger says, I wish I would have been born in the same world as you, at the same time as you, Joy Boy. Hey guys, why don't we call this final island Laugh Tale? So we don't find out if the final island indeed did have an original name. Because Roger's pirates named the island. It's a laugh tale because it's the end of their tale and they laughed their asses off. Now, the biggest theory is, why did they laugh? Well, it can be anything. It can be a long journey is finally at the end. But no, I don't think it's that simple. I actually think it's something of a big joke. Because Roger was a guy who liked flashy things. And he loved the adventure. This laughing to me almost sounds like, wait, this is what we have been seeing in the world? Are you kidding me? This is the truth? For me, it almost sounds like that. Like something is utterly ridiculous left in this island, and it's just so funny. Granted, I can't really see what is so funny. You have spent your entire journey on this thing, and then all you find out is a very big joke. Or maybe they're laughing because of freedom. Maybe they're... we can't forget that the world government, if for some reason, wants to keep this shushed up. But again, it seems that it's worth noting that Joy Boy's name is just that. Joy Boy. Joy Boy may actually have been just a very big troll in the end. Everything we know about the world may be a lie. Well, granted, we already know that everything about the world we know in One Piece is a lie. But what if everything we know about One Piece, the world, is just one big joke? And I'm not saying that the world government pulled a fast one on us or everything like that. But the truth of what the world government did, the truth of what they conquered, and the truth that what they are controlling is nothing more than a joke that they are doing extremely lengths to make sure it's reality. Something like everything about the world government and everything else is false. It is almost so false that it's funny. Is that why they are laughing? I don't know. But if you ask me, I'm starting to think that One Piece is just one big joke. And I'm not saying that it's a joke because it's false. No, I'm saying it's a big joke because it's a big joke. Joey Boy left something there. Something that was so funny to Roger that he didn't even mind what he found. But of course we don't find out what that is. We will have to wait till Luffy hits that because he must find it! And that means he has to defeat Kaido and Big Mom. Hell, even Blackbeard and the world government to get there. He's a main character, damn it, so defeat them already. Yeah, that's basically this chapter. I can't really disagree that it was bad. I mean, it was good. But still, I think people gave it a little bit too much praise. It's no answer is there. But it does imply one thing. And that is that we are very slowly heading towards the end game. And I'm saying very slowly because the pacing of One Piece is terrible. But still, how many more years now in real lifetime? Maybe 3? I just hope that Wano will wrap up 2020. Please, Uda, wrap it up in 2020. I beg you, wrap it up. I don't care how long the war takes, just wrap it up. So that's the story about Laugh Tale. It is it's something that is so very funny. Although Rayleigh seems very reluctant to talk about it to Robin. What did you think it was? And except asking, if you tell me what did I think about the chapter, then I'm just saying to you, I don't know. It almost feels like a very big joke. Give me your thoughts if you have any.